Okay, so, well, hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here and to be presenting this panel called Finding Balance, Mental Health and Performance. Glad to have here with me our 4 panelists, which I will be presenting right now. So, firstly, we have Mary Kok-Willemsen. She has been a professional coach for 25 years. She helped the Twente Football Club to become the most sustainable, successful club in Holland. And she has worked as a technical director and a technical leadership expert with FIFA and as coach education all around the globe. Thank you, Mary. Then we have Verónica Petrucci. She is an orthopedic surgeon and chief medical at Women's AS Roma team. She's also a member of the ECA Women's High Performance Advisory Board and ECA Medical and Performance Panel. Hello. Then we have Yolanda Lázaro. Ella es profesora titular del Departamento de Ciencias de la Actividad Física y del Deporte de la Universidad de Deusto. Doctora en Ocio y Potencial Humano, máster en Gestión de Ocio y licenciada en Psicología. Además, entre 2011 y 2018 ha sido directiva del Athletic Club y miembro del patronato de la Fundación Athletic Club. Y finalmente tendremos a Andrew Grepe, que es abogado y agente de FIFA especializado en fútbol femenino. Cuenta con 2 máster en gestión deportiva, un máster en Derecho Deportivo Internacional y certificación también como coaching deportivo. Además, es también fundador de Atmos Sport Management, una agencia especializada en jugadoras de fútbol. So, to begin with, the first thing you will notice is that I will be speaking both in English and Spanish because we have a mixed panel. So if you haven't done so yet and you want to have the translation, be sure to get your app and headphones. So first of all, I'm going to be presenting our panel. As I said, it's mental health and performance. We know that this is a topic very important right now. We have been talking about this for the past days. Yesterday, in some of the panels, we talked about the importance of seeing further from the performance of our athletes and seeing them as people and the importance of thinking of their mental health. So that's what we are going to be talking today. So first of all, in order for everyone to get to know you a bit better and understand why you're here, I wanted to ask, So from your professional perspective, how does your work relate to mental health and performance in sport? I'm going to do it in Spanish also, so desde vuestra perspectiva profesional, ¿cómo se relaciona vuestro trabajo con la salud mental y el rendimiento en el deporte? You can begin if you want.
Well, I think we look up in the news. We talk about players being mentally healthy, but I think one of the main influencers for player development is also coaches. We read about coaches already in half of the season mentioning something about burnout. Imagine a coach being the leader of the team, being close to a burnout, having to lead a team with the energy that they need to bring. So I think when we talk about developing players, there's also a part of who is helping to maintain healthy as a coach. And what is your role and responsibility as a coach to make sure you're performing at your highest level?
Thank you.
Thanks for having me here. I'm a doctor, so mental health and well-being is my central point of work. I deal with the health of the athlete at 30-60 degree. So I have to take consideration to have a player in health, in good mental health, because that can be related to injury as well. And also we have to notice that mental health is not only like a pathological point of view, like to a illness, but it's something that have to be seen in the whole integrity. So also well-being can be with the staff, with the coach, with the teammates, or with their private life, because all these aspects can influence the player performance. Moreover, mental health is crucial during an injury, especially during long injury like LCA or fracture, or that's it. So I think that for a doctor it's crucial to take care of mental health.
Yolanda? quería agradecer la invitación que hemos recibido a la Universidad de Deusto para estar hoy aquí, para colaborar también con la organización de algunas partes del evento. Y desde mi perspectiva, ¿cómo entendemos la salud mental? Pues ese equilibrio entre ese bienestar emocional que deben tener los deportistas de alto rendimiento, ser capaces de manejar el estrés, resiliencia, autoconocimiento. Y todo eso también tiene que ver con una buena salud o una buena red de apoyo fuera de lo que es el ámbito deportivo. Y ahí nosotros opinamos también que la formación que puedan tener los deportistas de alto rendimiento o cualquier otra persona deportista, una formación bien universitaria o cualquier de otro nivel, pero tener una buena formación y una red de apoyo a su alrededor les va a posibilitar, dentro de todas las dificultades que puedan tener, pero que esa salud mental tenga más recursos o más apoyos para estar fortalecida. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Celia. Nosotros como agencia de representación de especializados en fútbol femenil, yo como hablo con ellas al principio al final ellas primero son personas antes que jugadoras y mi trabajo principal no es tanto dentro de la cancha o su técnica, sino yo procurar que todo lo que les rodea esté mejor para ellas, ¿no? Yo al final todo el tema emocional, mental, físico, incluso fuera de la cancha, creo que es algo que ellas necesitan mucho más apoyo que el tema futbolístico, ¿no? Eso ya es un tema más club, pero yo como agencia, como agente, sí mi responsabilidad es darles este apoyo externo para que puedan pues ahora es que jugar y dar su mejor rendimiento.
Gracias. So we have understood a bit better what are we doing here and why do we have these four amazing panelists with us. And now I want to ask you some individual questions to understand a bit better your experience in this area. So I'm going to start with you, Andrew. ¿Cuáles son algunos de los problemas de salud mental más comunes que enfrentan las jugadoras con las que trabajas o que puedes llegar a conocer?
Pues desde mi punto de vista y viéndolos de afuera de la cancha, lo que las jugadoras necesitan en el tema de salud mental es pues, tener gente especializada en fútbol femenil, en mujeres. Creo que eso nos hace mucha falta, ¿no? Gente especializada en este deporte. Las lesiones, creo que el trato de las lesiones tiene que mejorar muchísimo porque al final una cosa es que se lesionen como tal, sí, pero la recuperación creo que es algo que se complica mucho, ¿no? Entonces, para mí esos temas donde no las recuperamos emocionalmente, porque físicamente las podemos recuperar fácil, pero el tema emocional, el miedo a volver a lesionarse, creo que es algo de las cosas que más les afecta, ¿no? Entonces, para mí esos son los principales problemas que ellas tienen para seguir creciendo, ¿no? Entonces, creo que sí necesitamos ser más especializados en el deporte femenil para ayudarles mucho más, ¿no?
Gracias. Desde luego es un tema importante a tener en cuenta, como mencionábamos, el cómo acompañar a nuestras jugadoras, ¿no? O sea que gracias por visibilizarlo. Seguimos con Yolanda. En tu caso, vienes de la Universidad de Deusto, así que me gustaría saber un poco qué papel crees que pueden jugar las universidades en la formación de esos futuros y futuras profesionales para apoyar a mejorar ese bienestar de nuestros y nuestras atletas.
Bueno, yo creo que el papel que nosotros podemos desempeñar es acompañarles en esa formación paralela que yo creo que todo deportista tiene que tener, ¿no? Creo que la transición que ocurre cuando las personas dejan el mundo del deporte es una transición importante, ese efecto del deportista retirado, el deportista que no tiene nada, es muy importante y eso afecta muchas veces también a la salud mental, al bienestar de los deportistas, ¿no? Por lo tanto, creo que tenemos un papel importante el saber adaptarnos a las características, a las situaciones de los deportistas. Sí que es cierto que para eso también necesitamos el apoyo de la Administración. Preparando un poco mi intervención, he revisado algunas investigaciones y veía también algunas investigaciones que habían hecho compañeros de la Universidad de La Laguna, donde hablaba de del buenismo de los docentes muchas veces para poder acompañar a los alumnos que son alumnos de alto rendimiento o alumnas de alto rendimiento para poder conseguir también esa otra carrera deportiva, ¿no? Yo creo que es fundamental trabajar desde los clubes, me da igual, clubes de fútbol, de cualquier otra disciplina deportiva, en saber acompañar y en buscar el tener ese plan alternativo para lo que pudiera pasar a cualquier deportista, que bien porque normalmente la carrera deportista es corta, no llegan a los 65 años para jubilarse, como suele ocurrir en otros momentos, o porque las lesiones también pueden aparecer de una manera inesperada. Por lo tanto, sí que es importante formarles, que tengan unas habilidades sociales, un entorno que no sea el entorno deportivo, sino otro entorno que les permita también salir de la presión del alto rendimiento. Y yo creo que ahí la formación es fundamental. La formación que les podemos dar acompañándoles en ese desarrollo académico y también, bueno, cómo trabajamos todo esto con los clubes para que verdaderamente sea una realidad y deje de ser algo simplemente que dependa a veces de la buena intención de los docentes, de la universidad en la que estés o determinadas cuestiones.
Vale. O sea que en realidad, siguiendo un poco con la línea que iniciaba Andrew, lo que parece que necesitamos sobre todo es personal especializado y formado, ¿no? Tanto en el acompañamiento a jugadoras, en este caso, como en la formación de esos futuros y futuras profesionales. Bueno, vamos a continuar con Verónica. You have several studies regarding the impact that menstrual cycle, for example, or sports equipment can have on the mental health and the physical health of the athletes. So how do these kind of studies have an impact on injury prevention and performance?
So with SCA and with the networking all other clubs, we decided to invest in women's research in April 2022, and we did the first time with the soccer boards study. That it was for me really important, because when you Googled on internet soccer boots for women, you just find out pink soccer boots.
Yeah.
That's impossible, because all the players know that they need soccer boots that are suited for them. So this research points out that there is a difference, as all the doctors know, that in the feet of female and male, from the arch, for the plantar point of view, and also for the length. So dealing with soccer boots who are not suited for women, that can lead to injuries, chronic injuries, problem with blister, and moreover with impact on the track with the field. Sometimes maybe if you don't have a good soccer boots, you can lay down in the feet because you have not a good grip. And I think that it's really important, because the feet and the boots are the instrument of the player. So I think it's the most important things. And you can prevent injury, maybe also LCA. There is a correlation between books, field, and LCA, but also chronic problems that can deal with mental health as well. Because yes, you can play, but you feel problem in the feet every day, every moment, and so that can be uncomfortable. For that point of view, the menstrual cycle was a really huge study that we are just going on, because just we finished the phase 1, and what we point out, and Roma participate very actively in the study, and there is no knowledge. There is no knowledge about these topics, and there is a huge taboo. So what is pointed out at the end, there is no evidence-based medicine, and you cannot do standardized training session compared to menstrual cycle, because all the players have a different menstrual cycle, and it's not an individual sports, it's a team sports. So for the coach, it's really difficult to deal and to integrate this evidence. At the end, there is not an evidence-based medicine, because all the players have different way of approach to the menstrual cycle. So if for someone can be discomfort, the period pain, maybe the ovulation, for the other one, the bleeding. And this can be like correlated to mental health, more the bleeding for some way, because the sponsor, the brand, do like white shorts. And that can be a problem. You say, why? Because the player can feel uncomfortable. And then if a player can feel uncomfortable with white shorts and she has the bleeding during a match, at the end can be influenced a little bit, no? The performance. Or the mental well-being. The last thing I want to say, there is evidence studying that for sure during ovulation there is a spread on estrogen. And I went also to WIFA symposium and we all are speaking about that. Yes, the spread of estrogen reduce the synthesis of collagen, so that give a tenderness on the LCA, and they said that could be related with LCA sprain injury, but that's not be this too, because LCA sprain is a multifactorial injury. So sometimes I think that you cannot be in ovulation and you are out of risk, but you are not mentally in. So maybe that is more risky than estrogen spread. So I think that is an evidence-based that estrogen give softness of the ligament, but now we can say and underline that, okay, you are in ovulation and you risk LCA, because it's a multifactorial way, and sometimes also mental health can be a risk for LCA.
Okay. Well, thank you for your inputs. It was very interesting and I think very different from all the things we have heard. And having this medical point of view is definitely amazing, so thanks. So Mary, we are going with you. You work with coaches and you have so for many years. So how do coaches navigate their own mental health challenges while also supporting their players? How can this be a challenge for them too?
Well, first of all, I would love to know from this audience, because there's so much experience here and so much expertise on the floor. I would love to know what you consider the #1 skill a coach needs to have to improve the player's performance. Not all at the same time, one by one. Who wants to stand up and give me one skill that you would hire the next coach for? Yes? Sorry? Communication. Okay. So she would hire the next coach based on his or her communication skills. Someone else?
I'm not the only one. Empathy,
Ability to connect. Empathy. Anyone else? Leadership. Okay.
We have another one there.
No one else? There are no guys speaking up today? Come on, guys. Give me another input. Yeah.
More empathy, sympathy.
Empathy, sympathy. Okay, I like that. Oh.
Sanity in the game.
Sanity in the game. I don't know if it's because it's related to this topic, but normally when I'm talking with an audience, they all are talking about game model. The first thing that I'm going to hire the coach is I want to see a great PowerPoint presentation about their game model. I want to hear how they talk when we play pressure, how we defend together as a team. I want to see that they play tiki-taka football like Guardiola. That is how I'm going to hire the coach. For me personally, I think one skill that I would hire a next coach for, or a leader in my organization, would be, can they manage energy? When we talk about Arne Slot from Liverpool, do we know him? Arne Slot, Liverpool? You think the guy is tactically a genius. But I think what he does best is generating and managing the energy of his players. When you listen to Salah, they ask him, he asked Arsene Wenger, how can I improve as a player? Because sometimes you don't see him, and all of a sudden he's there. Because he can manage his energy. He stays present the whole game. When everyone thinks he's out, he's there. So, for me, I think a coach, it's first about, are you able to manage your energy yourself? Mm-hmm. Does it mean, do I have emotions? Yes, of course I have emotions. But am I able to have those emotions being controlled in my state? Am I able to, even when I lose a game, am I able to control my state? And what state do I want to be into my players? Do I want to be a coach that is frustrated about the result and talks about what my players are doing wrong? Or do I want to show up for the camera as an empowering coach? That I support my team in what we can do better? So I think that is something. So first of all, managing energy. Second thing for me, it would be managing your emotional state. Third thing, how am I going to do it as a coach? With all the jobs that I have to fulfill as a coach. For me, it's training. For me, mental strength is like a muscle. You have to train it. For me, I have a framework that I use myself. That means clarity. I need to know what I'm aiming for. It means energy. What energy do I want to bring to the people I work with or spend my love life with? Not being a wife like, but also stepping into the door being... The third one is productivity. So how do I manage the schedule of my players and my team that we can perform at a good level and still re-energize? The fourth thing for me is courage. Do I have the courage to stand up for what I believe as a coach to my team? And the last one is influence. So am I able to influence the people in the way that I believe our team can grow? Those 5 things, I'm training myself every day. Those 5 things, I'm measuring myself every day. So when I talk about a coach, this is how I want to be. My highest ambition is being a role model for my players. Not a coach that is a burnout and they say, oh, I never want to be a coach. They're all burned out. They all work 80 hours. No, I would love the next female players to be a coach because they believe they can have it all. They can do it all.
Well, that was a great answer. I think it gives a big relation with Yolanda's work, and basically it goes on to saying maybe you have to work a bit on yourself before being able to work with others. That would be my summary. So we're going with the second question. I think we have the time. So Andrew, you go first again. ¿Cuáles son los principales obstáculos que crees que pueden impedir a las deportistas buscar ayuda en materia de salud mental y cómo podemos abordarlo, ¿no? ¿Cómo podemos darles más accesibilidad a ayuda en este tipo de problemas?
Sí, creo que uno de los principales temas que tenemos hoy es un poco la falta de profesionalización del fútbol femenil. Creo que los clubes deben tener un poquito más énfasis en darles estos recursos para que ellas puedan pues, ser accesibles a tener esta ayuda emocional, mental. Al final creo que no tienen esta profesionalización al 100%. El trato a una mujer futbolista no es igual a un hombre futbolista. Entonces, creo que sí debemos empezar a crear esta profesionalización 360 donde no nada más hay que enfocarnos en un resultado de un partido o un performance de sus entrenamientos o partidos, sino tienen que también, pues, si no alimentas todo lo exterior, pues obviamente llegar a un partido bajo presión, no solamente fútbol, se complica mucho, ¿no? Otra barrera para mí es el tema del estrés, el estrés que les genera todo esto, ¿no? Al final ellas, pues el fútbol femenil lleva profesionalizándose bien alrededor de 10 años. Entonces yo creo que ellas también tenemos que empezar a enseñarles cómo desarrollarse y cómo manejar el estrés, porque es solamente jugar fútbol, sino también es el tema de estudiar. Entonces necesitamos que también las escuelas y universidades pues, creen estos proyectos o estos estudios donde se puedan adaptar a la vida de un futbolista, ¿no? O sea, estas futbolistas donde tienen que estudiar de manera ordinaria, igual que todos los que no jugamos fútbol, pues también les complica a ellas. Entonces hay que empezar a crear un ecosistema para ellas, donde no solamente puedan jugar fútbol bien, sino quitarles este estrés, ¿no? Y tener esta protección en todos los ámbitos para que al final, pues, una jugadora va a desarrollar su fútbol de manera increíble si está bien emocional y mentalmente. Entonces, y ese es uno de nuestros objetivos como agencia, es poderles brindar este apoyo, no solamente en temas mentales, sino también son pues, emocionales, ayudarles a aquí luego los clubes también les piden muchas cosas que ellos no entienden. Entonces, uno de mis trabajos, siempre que esté en mis manos poder hacer, es quitarles de ese trabajo administrativo que luego les dejan para quitarles esta distracción. Entonces, creo que es importante también ver la parte humana de ellas, no solamente deportiva. Entonces, creo que cuando ya tengamos esa distinción de primero son personas y después son jugadoras, creo que es cuando va a empezar a mejorar muchísimo esta parte. E insisto, ser más profesionales en el fútbol femenil, porque sí implica ser muy especializados en esa área, porque si no, no podemos tratar el mismo futbolista hombre que futbolista mujer, que al final vienen todas estas lesiones, mentalmente no están bien. Entonces sí tenemos que ser mucho más profesionales en el tema de fútbol femenil.
Gracias. Recogemos una vez más esta idea, ¿no?, que mencionaba al inicio, que se lleva hablando desde ayer y bueno, que claramente sabemos que es un tema ahora mismo de priorizar a la persona por delante del jugador o la jugadora y ver a la jugadora como persona antes que como jugadora. Así que recojo nuevamente esta idea porque se viene repitiendo, pero creo que es importante que nos quedemos con ella. Y bueno, pues como decías una vez más, ¿no?, recalcar esa importancia de profesionalizar los servicios alrededor de la vida del atleta. Yolanda, vamos contigo. ¿Cómo crees que los clubes deportivos pueden abordar los desafíos que enfrentan los y las atletas de alto rendimiento cuando llegan a esta transición de tener que retirarse de la vida profesional que comentabas antes?
Yo creo que es un debe que tienen todos los clubes deportivos, ¿no? Todos tenemos ídolos, personas que las ensalzamos mientras están participando en las competiciones, pero esos deportistas también son personas y se tienen que enfrentar cuando acaba su carrera profesional a una nueva vida, donde en muchas ocasiones tienen que reconstruir su propia identidad, porque ha sido una identidad muy marcada solamente por el alto rendimiento. Tienen que también identificar cuáles son sus propósitos de vida. Hay veces que encontrar nuevas relaciones sociales, porque una vida muy centrada en el alto rendimiento incluye pues eso, incluso una restricción o un número de gente que está a tu alrededor muy determinada. Entonces yo creo que los clubes también tienen que tener una mirada amplia a todo lo que eso supone. Y si me permitís aquí, según le oí hablar a Andrew, me venía a la cabeza, ¿no?, que en esta profesionalización de la mujer deportista, a mí me gustaría que no cayéramos en el mismo error que se ha podido caer en este nivel con el hombre deportista. Porque no sé si es bueno o malo, pero mientras las mujeres igual en el ámbito del deporte no han alcanzado ese reconocimiento tan alto como un hombre futbolista, pero sí que han tenido, diríamos, una vida paralela, a veces mucho más, no voy a decir completa, porque no creo que por tener estudios universitarios, pero sí la mujer se ha formado en muchas ocasiones más que el hombre cuando estaba en el alto rendimiento. A mí me da un poco miedo que queramos igualar todo de tal manera que nos vayamos a lo fácil, por decirlo de alguna manera. Creo que el reto está en encontrar cómo ayudarles en esa transición. Creo que el reto está también por parte de los clubes en hacer mentorías, en acompañarles en esa salida profesional, en no dejarles cuando acaba esa etapa de alto rendimiento, y sino ayudarles a recolocarse personal, profesionalmente, encontrar ese camino hacia transición, incluso físicamente, por los cambios que se producen físicamente en hombres y mujeres deportistas cuando dejan de participar también de la práctica deportiva, ¿no? Creo que los clubes tienen un recado importante, permitirme la expresión, tienen un trabajo importante que hacer también pensando en esa transición, que es la que puede conllevar también problemas de salud mental, ¿no? Hemos hablado de los problemas que puede ser en la práctica, pero también a mí me preocupa qué pasa después, ¿no?, cuando parece que sales del alto rendimiento y te dejan ahí, ¿no? Te han dejado solo, pero para que esa salud mental después pueda funcionar o pueda estar de una manera adecuada, creo que hay que trabajarla desde el principio, pensando también en esa transición, como decía, a la vida civil. Y es importante. Creo que muchos tenemos ejemplos en la cabeza de gente que no le ha ido bien. Como os decía, estos días preparando un poco lo que iba a hablar, ha sido en Instagram, no sé dónde lo he visto, y en este caso era jugador de fútbol, no era mujer. Para los que somos de Bilbao, habla Julen Guerrero, que él ha visto cómo mucha gente que ha compartido con él vestuario, o antes o después, habiendo ganado mucho dinero, ahora las está pasando muy mal. Eso significa no haber tenido un plan alternativo y todo eso tiene que ver con la salud mental. Entonces, a mí esto me ha preocupado en hombres y me preocupa que en mujeres tendemos solo a o sea, por favor, acordémonos de si ya vamos a avanzar, avancemos bien, teniendo en cuenta ambas patas, ¿no? La deportiva y también lo que supone su transición cuando dejen todo esto.
Gracias.
Y creo que es un trabajo también que tienen que hacer los clubes.
Sí, desde luego es un desafío, ¿no? Creo que guarda mucha relación, de nuevo, con esa idea de mirar a la jugadora más allá de jugadora como persona, y esto también implica, pues, como decías, pensar en qué va a ser de su futuro más allá de su carrera como jugadora, ¿no? Que es un tema que no tratamos tanto, pero está ahí y a diario, desde luego, lo encontramos como desafío. Verónica, how does your medical research contribute both to the mental and the physical well-being of elite women's football?
So the aim of ACA is moreover networking, but doing research. So when we started, the aim of high performance group, and then when it was founded last June, the MPP panel, that's research. We want to do research because doing research can we help the player to reach the high standard. We aim to avoid injury as much as we can, to give them the best condition to achieve the high performance. So the aim of our group is dealing with research. We did a lot of research with female, and then it works out that we loved how it works, and then we found out the MPP medical panel that was both women and male. With the MPP panel, I underlined with other clubs the importance of mental health. So we want to deal, and we are starting a new research based on mental health, because I think that is crucial to think also about this aspect. Also, when we went to the UEFA Medical Symposium, there were a lot talking about medical health and mental health research, because I think that is important, especially in women, because I think performance, women, and injury are a lot linked with mental health, as I told before, at all grades. So I can say that it's crucial to do research because that's helped us to network with other clubs and discuss how in each club we work, and maybe like learning from others. But at the end, they only want to reduce injury, better training load, and the best physical and mental health for our players, because at the end we are there for players. So we want to take care about them as a person, as an athlete, as a friends, teammates, and how they relate. And something really important that we have to underline, also the impact of social media. So we were also dealing with that, because now also social media can have an impact in the mental health. So it's the future, but I can say the research is something that we have to take care about to lead them to high-level performance. Because in women, maybe we don't have so much as research, because female are not like men, as he told before. So we need more research on women's side.
Thank you. So I think this is very important too. This is the balance, also finding the balance between understanding that women deserve the same chances as men, but they are not the same. So I think there's the balance there too. So, okay, we go to you, Mary. Again, you work with organizations and support staff. So how can they create an environment where players feel comfortable prioritizing their mental health or their well-being?
Well, first of all, I think when you're an organization, what kind of organization do you want to be?
Yeah.
Many organizations are focusing on results. And they say they care because it's common sense. You know, we all say we care for our players. But if you look in the practice, it doesn't always show. So common sense is not always common practice. And what I believe is when you talk about the difference between peak performers, it's like you judge them on a peak that they're showing, but how can you make sure that the performance stays sustainable? So I believe there's a difference with achieving an organization that's focused on peak performance with a club that focuses on high performance. I think when you focus on high performance, you say as a club, okay, for us, the most important thing is achievement and fulfillment. That is what we want to create, an atmosphere for the people that are working within our club, and that is something that we want to attract talent with. That is already a different mindset. So then you're looking also, okay, what are things that we can do to improve the performance? You know what is one of the indicators that improves performance in organizations around the world? You know which one is crucial? Which one is crucial to increase performance, whatever organization? Happiness. Happiness. So unbelievable. We're all talking about we're working in clubs, increasing performance. But what is increasing happiness? Progress. So we know when people feel that when they're progressing, it equals happiness. And when you know happiness is one of the indicators that increases performance, the question is why don't we spend more time in really making sure that our players and our staff are finding that? And then you think about, if I want to be a club like that, what are the words that symbolize my club? Well, every one of you has different ones. For me, it is, wherever I'm going to work, I want to stretch myself, I want to stretch people. I want to do it with a smile. So even when I push my players, I still want them to be happy, smiling what they're doing. And I want them to feel supported. For me, those are my 3 words, whatever role I work with. As a club, what do you present? What are your 3 words? So if you have those 3 words, you also think about what kind of people do I want to bring in my recruitment? And now not talking about X and I's, about a player that is a great player that you want to bring in from your recruitment because you needed a left winger. No, you think about what is most important. Progress. Is this a player that also values progress? Or is this a player that is only going to be satisfied when he or she scores 3 goals and is doing like this? What is really driving the people that I'm going to recruit? How am I going to develop my people? How am I going to release? Which are players or staff members that I have to let go because they don't meet those 3 criteria that we want as a club? And I think the last one is return. When you release someone in your organization, maybe it is because that is the right moment for him or her or your club to release someone. But have you thought about following them in their journey to maybe have them return to your club with new expertise, with new experiences, or with new energy? So if I talk about a club, I think everything, and maybe that's my thought behind it, everything should be related, total football high performance for me. Everything that I want to do has to make common sense, that when I say A, I also execute B, you know? So, yeah, I think that's it.
So we need to change a bit our focus and prioritize.
First have a real clarity on who you want to be. How do you want to show up in the world? As a club, as an individual, as a mom, as a dad, as a coach, how do you want to show up? And then try to be consistent and congruent with who you want to be. And that is, I think, the role model mindset that you want to give to your players and your organization.
Well, definitely something for all of us to think about. So now, before we are arriving to the end, but before that, I want to give you a common question so that all of you can answer. So it's what best practices exist right now for integrating mental health into high-performance settings? I'm going to do it in Spanish too, so ¿cuáles son las mejores prácticas que existen hoy en día para integrar la salud mental en estos entornos de alto rendimiento? You can choose who answers first. So any of you that wants to go, just go for it.
Yo creo, me atrevo a
Yolanda.
empezar a hablar yo. No sé si son las mejores prácticas, pero sí que creo que debemos trabajar de una manera coordinada. Creo que es muy importante que todos los agentes o todos los estamentos que rodean a los deportistas trabajen de una forma coordinada. Vuelvo al ámbito en el que estoy yo. Estábamos hablando de la formación, estamos hablando de la formación universitaria, pero no lo podemos hacer solo desde las universidades, no lo pueden hacer los clubes solos, es un trabajo conjunto. Entonces, ¿cuáles son las mejores prácticas? Son las que nos permiten trabajar de una manera coordinada, con las cartas encima de la mesa para buscar las mejores soluciones. Y en algunos de los casos necesitamos la implicación efectiva y verdadera también de las administraciones públicas. Estoy pensando ahora mismo en todo el tema de la formación, pero si no tenemos una cobertura administrativa que nos permita dar una salida a una gestión académica diferente, a veces para deportistas de alto rendimiento, sería imposible. Por lo tanto, mejores prácticas, tener claro que tenemos que trabajar en una cultura de apoyo, una cultura de apertura. Tenemos que tener claro que para que la salud mental de las personas o de los deportistas de alto rendimiento tiene que tener en cuenta su rendimiento deportivo y profesional, pero nunca olvidarnos de la parte personal. Porque cuando dejen de tener esos rendimientos, ese rendimiento satisfactorio que nos permite salir 1 millón de personas a vitorear la gabarra, como hicimos todos los que somos de aquí, pero a mí también me preocupa los que están encima de la gabarra, qué va a pasar con ellos dentro de 10 años. Y creo que hay que tener en cuenta cuál va a ser cómo hemos trabajado para que luego su salud mental y el afrontar lo que les viene después es importante. Por lo tanto, ¿cuál es la mejor práctica? Tenerlo presente y trabajar de una manera coordinada, agentes muy distintos, pero que todos tenemos algo que decir.
Gracias.
Bueno, para mí también nuestro objetivo final siempre debe ser que la jugadora disfrute jugar, ¿no? O sea, nos enfocamos mucho en los resultados, en que tiene que ser lo que le toca, pero yo creo que todas las organizaciones que estamos alrededor de la jugadora, nuestro objetivo final es hacerlas disfrutar lo que están haciendo. Como cualquier empresa, como cualquier trabajo, pues para dar tu mejor resultado tienes que disfrutar lo que estás haciendo. Entonces, creo que las herramientas, un club, nosotros como agencia, las federaciones, todos tienen las herramientas necesarias para dárselas a ellas y que al final ellas puedan disfrutar esta parte. Creo que si no hacemos que ellas se sientan protegidas y disfruten lo que están haciendo, pues creo que por ahí ya nuestro trabajo no está haciendo de manera correcta. Entonces, para mí eso es lo más importante hoy.
So, I think that it's crucial mental well-being, mental health, because more with New Year's, also with social media, with everything, it's very important to take care of the mental well-being. I think that at least is a taboo, and it's difficult to speak about that. More in male in that case than women, but we have to say that in female, mental health has a much impact in performance, as I said before, than in male. Because women are different and they are more emotive, they are more like taking care with like their feelings. They put more feelings in what they do. What is the aim? I hope that I would like to say that when is the recovery, or when we talk about recovery, the day after the match, we need to take care about also mental recovery. So it's difficult sometimes to speak with the coach or performance staff, but sometimes I say maybe she needs recovery, not to injury, not to muscle problem, not to DOMS, just because she's burnout. That's difficult also to let the players understand that, because sometimes they don't accept that. But the future should be that you put in the shift of the recovery, not only bath, not only sauna, not pure sauna, massage, also mental break. Sometimes I speak with the coach and say maybe they need 1 day off because they are over, and if they are over, they not can train well, and they will not be in the match 100%. This is more sensitive in female, I think, than in male. And also I think it's really important to relate it with the injury, because if you are not there, for sure you got injury. So it can be the LCA, can be a sprain, can be a twist of the ankle, but if you're not in the match, in the training session 100%, you can get injured with a high risk. It's not related, like no estrogen peak that's related to LCA sprain, but in general, the injury is made of a cake, so each slice can we solve is better. And when I network for other club, I see that also in some other club around Europe, this idea is developing. More in the North club, there is just a step forward than us, but I think that can be the future. But they have to change the mentality. So mental health cannot be a taboo. They also need campaign, maybe, and also the coach needs to listen to the players. So I think I really agree that when they speak, the communication empathy with the players is really, really important.
You go last.
Last. I think one of the things that is really helping mental health as common sense, I think, is that I would like to celebrate the women of Spain, because I think they showed courage to take leadership in showing an environment that's not accepted anymore, that is really breaking down mental health. If you really understand after the Netflix series or watching it live, really what has been happening, and we're talking now about mental health, I think all that we can do is make sure that never happens again. If we really want to make sure that we talk about mental health, it starts first with let people be who they be. Let people have ownership about who they are, and that they feel good about it. And don't just speak it as hollow words, but take action when you see something happen that is preventing people from being their best self. And I think that is what I celebrate from the Spanish women, that they weren't focusing on their results. They were not waiting to be invited in the room anymore. They didn't wait for someone to open the door. No, they slammed the door to an environment that we don't want our players to be in anymore. So I would say the best practice for me is how individuals can step up and make change. And I hope we don't have to wait all to become world champions to feel confident enough to say things when we see them going wrong, that are hurting our players, that are hurting the people that love the game.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here today with me. I think that you brought some really interesting points to the conversation, and definitely something for our public to think about. I want to make a brief summary of some of the most important topics that we talked about here. So I think the first thing is understanding that it's not a fight between mental health and performance. You do not have to choose. One is connected to the other. So if we are not taking care of the mental health of our players, we will not have the best performance. They are connected, and this is why we need to prioritize mental health. If you are not doing it for anything else, at least do it for the performance, because they are going to be connected. The next thing, as I already mentioned, is also finding the balance between that same having the same opportunities between women athletes and men athletes, and at the same time understanding that they are different and they have different needs, and we need to have investigation that is focused on women, and we need to have professionals that are focused on working with women, and it's important to understand this. Then just bringing into consideration, we talked about different things that can cause stress in our athletes. Some of them have been ovulation. We also talked about the retirement. So overall, the summary would be there's a lot of things that are going to affect our players, and we need to think of them as people before thinking of them as athletes, because that must go first. It just must. So then our closing recommendations, I'm not saying them myself, I'm taking them from your conversation. Basically, we need to care about our players, and we need to work together. That would be my 2 messages for all of you. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to present the next table, which is called How Football Can Help Solve Humanity's Most Important Challenge, Healing Our Mothers. And it's going to be presented by our moderator, John Tong. Before them stepping here, I just want to once again thank you all, and that's all for us.